Can you hear? Hi, evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Um, Today, we have a guest, a doctor, a specialist doctor, who's giving a talk about supercharge your health with PEMF. What is PEMF? Maybe some of you may heard it, but I believe that most of you may not heard what is PEMF and have not come across what is PEMF. Now, without further ado, let me introduce our speaker today. Yeah. Dr. Amir Farid Ishak. Okay. So Dr. Amir Farid, he is a medical doctor, senior medical consultant with more than 45 years of medical practice. He is obstetrics, gynecology. He is aesthetic and anti-aging regenerative now in this regenerative medicines. Now, in Malaysia, he is one of the pioneers practicing holistic integrative medicine, combining modern, natural, nutritional, and complementary therapies, as well as a pioneer of anti-aging and regenerative medicine. Now, he is one of the earliest, of course, to practice cell therapy, including stem cell transplantation in Malaysia. Okay. Now, he is also a popular speaker on anti-aging, aesthetics, nutrition, wellness, women's health, stress management, cancer, and even Qigong, okay? And have been invited to speak on the subjects by many organizations, by governments, departments, companies, local and international health seminars, medical scientist conferences, you know? Yeah, so he is well known. He is very good. He has done a lot of research and giving talks all around Malaysia and the world. Now, he is also very popular in the Star, those who read the Star newspaper, all right? So you must have seen his content. He is the health columnist for the Star newspaper for 10 years, okay? And he himself also practiced Qigong. He himself is a Qigong master, has been teaching Qigong for more than 35 years. Okay. He is also the founding president for Guilin Qigong Association of Malaysia and remain as his advisor. Okay. So he has been advisor consultant to the beauty and health industry for over 3 decades. Now, let's put our hand together to invite our speaker of today, Dr. Amir Farid.
Okay, thank you very much for the very kind introduction. Okay, oops. Okay, so the topic for my talk is supercharge your health with PEMF. What does PEMF mean? We will elaborate on that. Okay, I hope that through the session you will learn what is EMF or EMS, and then what are the harmful and beneficial effects of EMF, then what is PEMF and how does it work, and what are the benefits of PEMF. Okay, so I'm sure all of you have heard of EMF, and many of us have heard EMF mainly in a negative sense. We've always been warned of the harmful effects of EMF, right? But let us first define what we mean by EMF. So usually EMF means either electromagnetic frequencies or electromagnetic fields, right? So when talking about the electromagnetic frequencies, as you can see in the diagram shown, no. I was trying to do this. Doesn't come out there. Okay, in the diagram, you can see on the left side the low frequency waves going to the right side, the high frequency waves. So when we say electromagnetic frequencies, we are referring to the frequencies of the waves or the rays that are generated. Now, all these frequencies, they all generate a field. So that's why you have electromagnetic fields. When we talk about electromagnetic frequencies, then you are simultaneously also talking about their fields. So this EMF is interchangeably used for electromagnetic frequencies and electromagnetic fields. But when we talk about them, then we can be specific on what we mean. Some also refer to EMR or electromagnetic radiation because these waves also are waves of radiation. And then the entire spectrum of frequencies is referred to as the electromagnetic spectrum. Right? So now you know when people say EMF, what do they mean? EMR, what do they mean? And EMS, what do they mean? Okay. And then let us try to tie this up with the things around us, the everyday things around us, and what other kind of frequencies are associated with the gadgets and the electrical and other things that produce waves. So starting from on the left, 0 means there is no wave. So you have the direct current, got no wave. Okay, we're talking about, if you're current, talking about AC, alternating current, then there's a wave. Okay, so we have our household AC is what, 50 to 60. Yeah, okay. All right, then you have a radio, AM, and FM is higher than AM. Then you have the TV, then our cell phone. So you're going to start going to higher and higher frequency. Then Wi-Fi, the microwave. Then you go into infrared. Then you have the visible light, right? So the visible light is much higher frequency than the frequency that we are so used to with the electricity. Nowadays you will hear about terahertz frequency. Okay, you can see the visible light is in the terahertz range. Okay, then you go, but take note that as you go higher and higher, you touch X-rays, and you know already, X-rays are harmful rays. And you go further, you get gamma rays and other rays that start to cause more impact on the cells and may damage the cells. So in general, the higher the frequency, the more harmful they tend to be. And if you look at the previous slide, you can see the low frequency, the non-ionizing. That means they don't split up the atoms and the molecules into ions. All right. When you go to high frequency, they tend to be more energized, and they can even split atoms and molecules to make them into ions. That means the potential to damage is much higher. Okay. So are EMFs harmful to our health? There's been many studies that shown that different types of animals and humans are sensitive even to minor exposure to EMF. So now we are referring to the electromagnetic fields generated by these frequencies. And public concerns have been raised about possible effects of exposure to EMF on human health for many years. However, there are conflicting scientific views and expert opinions on whether we should be worried about the harmful effects, especially because there are also those with vested interest. Who are those people with vested interest? You know, you are producing a gadget that produces this EMF. Of course, you say they are safe. Just like until now, the cigarette companies still deny that cigarettes cause lung cancer, despite all the scientific medical data. Okay. So yes, it is undeniable that most EMF are harmful. And these are some of the harmful biological effects of EMF. The genetic effects, cancer, behavioral changes even, right? Changes to the brain, to the heart, sleeping disorders, hormonal disturbance, immune system affected, metabolic effects, right? Diabetes, autoimmunity, affect fertility, impact learning, etc. And most will affect our health and our rate of aging. Okay, but are there safe or beneficial EMF? Right? As we say, most, but not all. Extremely low frequency electromagnetic fields in the range of 1 to 100 are deemed to be generally safe, but not 100% of the time. For example, the power transmission frequency of 50 to 60 hertz or cycles per second is all around us. The EMF produced by high voltage power transmissions can generate current and magnetic fields inside our body. It can impact our health, right? So in general, the lower voltage that's already circulating in our house are safe. But the high voltage towers with the same frequency can be harmful. So there are other factors other than frequency. Indeed, there are individuals who are significantly affected by such power lines. So we know the power lines that send the AC to our house. When the AC reach our house, they are safe. But the AC in the power towers and which are at very high voltages can still be harmful. Then the Earth itself has a frequency, and that is a frequency of 7.83 hertz. And this is called the Schumann resonance or Schumann frequency. And this is not only safe, it is beneficial. It is protective. It surrounds and protects all living things on the planet. Scientific studies show that the human brain reaches its ultimate potential for health and wellness when it resonates with the Earth's 7.83 Hertz frequency, with the Schumann's resonance. So many studies show that the Schumann frequency or resonance has been linked to improved cognitive functions, reduced stress and anxiety, enhanced immune functions, sleep function, and much more. Staying in sync with the Earth's natural frequency can positively affect physical and mental health and daily performance and promote overall well-being. Okay? So the Earth has this natural frequency 7.83, and it is found that it is beneficial for us, for our health. But it is not that surprising. Okay, it is not that surprising because we are also part of the Earth, and the natural frequency of the Earth syncs with our own frequency. The problem is that there are many other frequencies diluting our environment and overwhelming the natural good frequencies that should benefit us. Okay, so unfortunately, the Schumann resonance may be blocked out from reaching us by the massive amount of EMF radiation that are emitted every minute of every day. Hello. Okay. For example, the high voltage energy transmission lines and substations are plentiful in big cities, and people living in those areas are subjected to strong electromagnetic fields, and various health issues have arisen, including cancer. And studies show that EMF emitted from electrical and mechanical appliances in our homes and workplaces, such as heating systems and air conditioning and the ubiquitous mobile phones, may interfere with the body's ability to stay in sync with the Earth's natural vibrations. Okay, so while the Earth is huge and its natural frequency, should be immense, but on the other hand, we have produced so much of other harmful frequencies, and these two, right, tend to block out each other. Okay, so this interference can negatively affect the body's immune system, energy levels, and sleep quality, and the body's overall health and defense are at risk. It could be one of the reasons why so many people often feel stressed and anxious, and why many become sick easily. Okay, so if you can restore the body's frequencies to sync with the Schumann resonance, then we should be able to restore our health, right? So, so far we understand what is EMF, and so far we understand that most of the EMF are harmful, but there are safe EMF, and that one of the frequencies that is safe and beneficial to us is the Earth's natural frequency, which is 7.83, called the Schumann resonance. But this resonance, while it's natural, is there. This frequency, while it's natural, is there. May be a block from each and every one of us by the other frequencies that are surrounding us. So if you can restore that sync right, between us and the Earth, that would really be great. Okay. So what are the beneficial effects of EMF? Studies have shown that connective tissue generate weak currents when mechanically stressed, and therapeutic pulsed electromagnetic fields are designed to induce currents similar to those produced normally during mechanical deformation of connective tissue. And these weak, time-varying magnetic fields have beneficial effects on cell function. Okay, so what it means is scientists have found out that when you stress the connective tissues of our body, then the tissues generate weak currents, right? Which play important role in healing. So after realizing that, then the scientists went to the next step. Why not we generate these similar currents, right? You don't have to put pressure on your tissues to wait for the tissues to generate the currents. Why not we produce similar currents? I mean, we know a lot about electricity and electromagnetism, so scientists can produce that. And why not produce these frequencies to match what are known as the healing frequencies? And one of the healing frequencies is the 7.83 hertz. So a wide variety of challenging musculoskeletal disorders have been treated successfully over the past 2 decades, all right? So this report, and I'm reading, is already 3 decades old. So that means we're talking about since 5 decades ago, this science first was put into practice. Okay, even then, more than 250,000 patients with chronically ununited fractures have benefited worldwide from this surgically non-invasive method, right? That is using the PEMF without risk, discomfort, or the high cost of operative repair. And that was 3 decades ago. Imagine by now there must be millions, several millions. Okay? So earlier on we talked about EMF. Now we know that PEMF means pulsed electromagnetic field. Okay, so the difference, you want to know what is pulse versus the non-pulse. If you have a light and you have blinking light, that's pulse light. You have just shining light, and that is the non-pulse light. Okay, so it just means that the frequencies are released in rapid bursts. Okay, and the frequency depends on what we mean by rapid. Okay. So since then, many other therapeutic uses of PEMF have been applied, and some supported by double-blind clinical trials So why I mentioned that, I'm a medical doctor. I have to be very careful what I say. If you're not doctor, you can say this is good, that is good, that is good. A doctor can only say things that are supported by studies, but studies can be just studies in the lab, studies in the petri dish, studies on animals, and studies on humans. Okay, studies on humans are called clinical trials. So when you have double-blind clinical trials, that means it is of the highest evidence already. As understanding of the subject expands, the range of treatable conditions have increased tremendously. And these include nerve regeneration, wound healing, graft behavior. This graft means you take one tissue and put it another place. Diabetes, myocardial and cerebral ischemia, that is heart attack and stroke, and many more. There is even possible benefits in controlling cancers. It is already used to relieve bone, nerve, and tissue pain in cancer patients due to cancer or the treatments. All right. So, meaning PEMF is already used in cancer management, mainly to relieve the pain on the bone or nerve or tissue. But research is going about what about controlling the cancer itself, by trying to reverse the cancer itself. Okay. So we hope the studies will show positive results. So what is PEMF? How does it work? So now you already know what is PEMF. It is pulsed electromagnetic fields. Okay, and we tune the frequencies that to be to match the healing frequencies. And for this particular machine, it is tuned to the Earth's frequency, right? The Schumann resonance. So PEMF, right? You have a magnetic field, you have electrical field. So electromagnetic fields. The machine uses electric currents to generate the pulse EMF, which influences tissues in two ways. Okay, so now we go to how does PEMF work. Firstly, the magnetic field creates a force on tissue-resided molecules. So when there is magnets, there are some minerals that respond to the magnet. Example, the iron and manganese. And these are in our tissues, right? Which depends on their magnetic reactive properties, right? So the magnetic field can be demonstrated using small magnets. So afterward, Marvin will show you that, yeah, indeed, right? This machine produces magnetic fields. Secondly, the induced electrical field exerts a force on the ions present in the tissue. All right. So, in our tissue, there are minerals that will respond to the magnetic field, but there are also ions, that means charged particles that will respond to the electrical field. Okay, so I repeat, secondly, the induced electrical field exerts a force on the ions present in our tissue. And both, right, of this action, the magnetic field and the electrical field, result in a forced movement of ions or charged particles such as proteins. All right, so we're not just talking about small atoms, molecules. Even our proteins carry charge, right? So they can be influenced by these forces. So low frequency electrical fields do not penetrate well into tissue, instead favoring the development of an electric current on the surface. So there are other healing methods using electrical current, low frequency electrical fields, but these only tend to affect the surface. Okay. However, applied penetrating magnetic fields, all right, this is what we're talking about, can be used to induce an electrical field in deeper tissue, right, in PEMF therapy, okay? So the difference is when if you use an electrical gadget, number one, you have to be in contact, right? Number two, right, the electrical current will only flow in the surface. If you want it to go deeper, you increase the electrical current, then you get hurt. Okay. Whereas when you use the EMF, electromagnetic fields, right? So the field, like you talk about, you have a person, and that person has an energy field, aura. You know it goes beyond that person. The same thing, the electromagnetic field goes beyond the physical aspect of what is producing it. So we know for the PEMF, it can be 10 to 15 cm, yeah, beyond the physical gadget. So this field will then penetrate anything. Okay? All right? Penetrate anything with no barriers, with no tissue barriers, unlike when using other methods. And then you can have the effect much deeper than what you can expect otherwise. So a pulsed low frequency magnetic field is twice as effective as a static magnetic field. So, why do we use pulse EMF? Instead, why not just EMF? Right? So studies have shown that pulse magnetic fields are twice as effective as static magnetic fields. Okay, that explains how this method works, right? Using pulse electromagnetic fields, you get double the effect of non-pulse fields. Number two, using the electromagnetic field, you get deeper effect than if you're only using just electrical current. Because ultimately, we use electrical current to produce the field. That's why it's plugged into the electrical line. Okay? Right? But our target is to produce a pulsed electromagnetic field that can go deeper with no barriers. So PEMF have effects on the human body's cellular and biophysical systems, and the therapeutic exposure times may vary from a few minutes up to several hours. Repeated applications over a prolonged period of more than 10 days show a higher effect than shorter periods. Okay, so this is from the experience. So we follow these guidelines if we want to have the maximum effect. Positive clinical effects of this non-invasive treatment on patients have been repeatedly observed, mainly in orthopedics and also other systems. And there are ongoing studies on the use of PEMF therapies for many health problems. Okay, so two things: it's effective for many systems, it is safe. So these are some of the studies, and there are many more. I just show this list to give you an idea that even though the initial studies, as far as the doctors and the clinical people are concerned, were mainly on bone and joints, I mean orthopedic, but now other systems are also being included in the studies, including they're also studying on the effect on stem cell. Stem cell is one of the latest things also. Okay, but most importantly is that more and more studies are showing the results. So when we talk about the effectiveness, for some of these, we can say these are clinically proven. Okay, so there are many studies, and there are many more. Okay, so what are the known benefits of PEMF therapy? So on top of the list is, of course, the fractures. Right? So for many years, the doctors were using this method to help people whose fractures could not unite by conventional medical treatments, but this method could unite them. So just imagine, millions of people have been saved from having fractures that couldn't heal because of this method. And many of them wouldn't have otherwise had their limbs that refused to, the bones of the limbs that refused to unite, they would have had to have amputations. Yeah. So do not underestimate how much this technology, this method has benefited humanity. Right? For many, just imagine millions of people. Then beyond that, then other problems, health problems, diseases have been shown to also benefit. So some of these are osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, muscle and tendon injuries, for many causes of pain, inflammation, and swelling, and therefore healing is also hastened. Wounds and skin grafting. Diabetics can benefit a lot from this. Diabetic ulcers, vascular complications, and neuropathy. But I think more significant than what is listed there is the potential for actual reversal of the diabetes disease itself. All right. In fact, I hope to work with Mr. Low, the owner of this place, to address that, because of the amazing reversal of his diabetes. That's why he brought the machine here. All right. So for somebody who knows of the tremendous burden of diabetes on the people in this country and neighboring countries as well. In fact, the whole world. By Malaysia, we know 1 in 5 adults, we're talking about adults 18 and above, are diabetic. But 18 is a bit early to talk about having chronic disease. If we talk about 30 and above, then you know the proportion is probably not 1 in 5, maybe 1 in 4. Yeah. Okay. If we talk about 50 and above, you're probably talking about 1 in 3. All right. So many people with diabetes then. So not only their complications can be helped by this technology, but why not, intervene earlier and help them reverse the diabetes instead of wait until they get complications. So that's why, when I heard that story, I said, no, that is what we should focus, and I should try to focus on if we really want to help humanity. Okay? And then nerve regeneration, improve blood circulation, improve cellular function, even lowering cholesterol, improving immunity, improving energy, improve prostate and health, not just the prostate enlargement, but also prostate inflammation. Okay, reducing stress, improving mood, and helps in detoxification. And in red, I put the ischemic heart disease and stroke again, right? In many countries, number 1 cause of death is heart disease. Number 2 is either stroke or cancer, depending on which country. Okay, but in Malaysia, depending on which season, right? If it's a festival season, it is the road accidents. Okay, right? And then as people in general start to live longer, right? And many countries are becoming countries full of senior citizens with not enough of the younger people. Then the diseases associated with elderly will start become prominent, and these will include Alzheimer's, okay, Parkinson's, and other neurodegenerative diseases. Okay, very difficult to treat. Of course, the drug companies are looking at that as an opportunity to bring out the next drug. They're all damn expensive. But here you have a non-invasive method that may make all those drugs redundant. Right? If you do, okay? And in the long run, right, also cheap and affordable. Right? If you take a drug, you have to take every day. It might start quite cheap, but over many years, it's going to be expensive. But this, all you have to do, buy the PEMF gadget once, and you can use it for many years. Okay, but before you go all, it may help in your sleep if those people have sleep disorders. Why I put in among the red problems is because sleep is a very much underestimated cause of ill health. And nowadays, especially with the smartphone, many people are not sleeping enough. They might go on the bed, but with their handphone in their hand, right? They be on the bed at 10 p.m., but 1 a.m. they're still not asleep. Okay, they're still not asleep. Okay. So the lack of sleep, chronically lack of sleep, can increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, and cancer by 3 to 4 times. Right? So, and there are many, many other problems. Okay. And then headaches. And then hair loss. Okay, so I'm going to put this on my head as often as possible. Okay, erectile dysfunction, the man. All right. So okay, the man of what 30 years ago, they say hallelujah, there's Viagra. Okay. Then about 20 years ago, then other than Viagra, then there are many, many brands. Okay. Then at the same time, also say, oh, the original dose 50 milligram does not work on me anymore. They have to increase double the dose, triple the dose. Then they come to a point where even Viagra so does not help anymore. So now they have another way to try to help them. Okay. So with all these many benefits, and more will be added as more evidence are accumulated. And knowing that this therapy is non-invasive, harmless, and convenient. What I find this method much better than the straightforward electrical method is you can continue doing many things while you are sitting on it or whatever. Whereas with some of the gadgets, you are doing the therapy. Not only you cannot touch anything else, people also cannot touch you. Okay. Whereas this one, life can go on, and you do. It's very, very convenient. So conclusion, PEMF therapy is a safe, convenient, and affordable, non-invasive, science and evidence-based method to enhance health and improve healing. Thank you very much.